What is going on today, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Today, I just wanted to talk about some videos that I had been recently sent from some different content creators that I'm not subscribed to, but the person who sent me them wanted my take on it as far as what they were saying about local trucking. And so basically, what they had been saying, and I've seen videos like this before, not even just from this content creator, but from many other content creators who say, well, local trucking, you're just going to work sun up to sundown. You're not going to have any social life, because they don't adhere to the hours of service, at least within a 150-mile radius. So it's just terrible, and over the road is better. First off, I'm just going to say this as a caveat, right? I have not been over the road. I was only regional for a month. I quickly discovered it was not for me, and I moved back to local trucking, and I have since been in local trucking for 4.5 years minus the 1 month I was in regional. So on this channel, you'll never hear me say over the road is bad, over the road is terrible, you shouldn't do it, regional's bad, you shouldn't do it, because at the end of the day, it might be for you. I just know it's not for me. And I've already said why it's not for me, for several reasons, for regional and over the road. But at the end of the day, just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not the case for you. Now, with these other channels saying local trucking, it's terrible, you shouldn't do it, they're taking that a step further by saying, not only is it not for me, but it's not for you. And I'm going to project my reasoning as to why it's not for me to you also. Here's the thing. There's so many parallels with this, what they're doing here in the topic of local trucking, to pretty much every other decision you could possibly make in life, whether that's personal finances, personal decisions, investing, what career decisions, doesn't matter. What they're trying to do is create a commiserating group of miserable people. That's what they're trying to do. Because if you do your research, or you just let people talk long enough, you'll find out that whatever it is that they're complaining about, and it doesn't matter, right? But in this case, for local trucking, you'll find out they just jumped at the first local position that they got offered, and or they didn't do the research into the company that they got hired by. And so, yeah, they actually end up working for a terrible boss who makes them work 16 hours a day. The reality is there's a lot of bad companies out there. There's also a lot of good companies out there. On top of that, they would rather just complain to the internet than actually do something about it, whether that is going to their boss and saying, hey, this is not what I signed up for, to work 16 hours a day. This was not part of the deal. How can this be changed? How can this be amended? Or, if it means walking because your boss says, no, you're going to work 16 hours a day and the rules have changed and I'm good with lying with you, then okay, then you probably should walk. But at the end of the day, social media encourages this form of creating a habitat of commiserating miserable people, because it's always easier to just complain about it and find other people that are complaining too about the same thing or similar things than it is to actually just go back, learn from your mistake of, okay, either not doing research or not talking to your boss about, changing your hours or whatever it is that you're upset about, or going to a different job altogether, doesn't matter. Or in the case of like personal finances, for example, they'll say, oh, you can't get ahead because things are too expensive. I'm just always so behind on bills, and it's just this economy, it's just terrible. You dig into it and then you find out, okay, they're spending $1,000 going out to eat every single month. It doesn't matter what it is. People that are complaining about the situation and continue to do so without changing it, you can go back into their story and find the details And somewhere along that line, you'll figure out they decided to make a bad decision, which that's not the point, because we all make bad decisions, right? Where they screwed up is, where they really screwed up is after they made that bad decision, they decided instead of learning from that, correcting it, and moving on, they decided they would rather just, complain about it and double down because of their ego or whatever it is. Doesn't matter the reason. And for this, I'm not talking about the extreme cases of, people down on their luck. I'm not talking about, quadriplegics or somebody that can't actually work for a living. I'm talking about the vast majority of cases where people just want to commiserate and complain because it's much easier than facing reality and fixing their mistake and moving forward that way. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because if you see, people complaining about something on the internet, just take it with a huge grain of salt, because again, at the end of the day, somewhere along the line, they screwed up. That's the reality. And instead of learning from that, they just wanted to double down and, get some clout out of it, on the internet, which fine, that's fine. But personally, I don't associate with those people. I don't interact with them because I've been there. And the sad part is they don't understand, if they just made the effort to make changes in their life and move forward and learn from their mistakes, they would actually feel a lot better. They wouldn't feel so miserable. They wouldn't be miserable. And I would recommend, if you want to go somewhere in your life, if you want to be better than you were yesterday, or better than you were last week, or better than you were last year, keep those people out of your life. Don't associate with them, because life can happen. It can get you down, when it rains, it pours. And then it can be just way too tempting to just slide into that bucket of crabs and never come back out. And again, as a final note for the local trucking thing, if it's not for you, don't do it. If over the road isn't for you, don't do it. If fuel hauling isn't for you, or general hazmat for you, don't do it. But doesn't hurt to try. And at the end of the day, if it isn't for you, there's no shame in saying, hey, it's not for me. I'm going to go do this other thing. But with that being said, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys are doing well. And if you think I'm wrong, you can certainly put it in the comments section down below. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one. If you have any video topics that you want me to discuss, also put that in the comment section down below. Take care. Peace out. God bless.